Okay, your next one on there is a moraine. They have lateral and terminal on there. Lateral moraines are less important. Terminal moraines are a pretty important one for earth science here in New York, here in the region's earth science. And the easiest one to spot is Long Island. Long Island's really composed of two of them. There's two terminal moraines, and I'll show you another image. Because what happens is that there was advances and retreats of the ice. So let's back up. The general idea of what a terminal moraine would be, which I explained in the first video, is that as this ice spread from the north and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, it's like a bulldozer. It's embedding things within the ice and it's shoving things along with it as it goes. And then when it's melting time, the ice backs up, melts, but it just leaves all this debris behind. So you get these long, winding ridges of glacial debris that are huge. Pretty big hills. Like they run right through here. And on your quiz, it's going to be a big line, hint, hint. And plug up that. You basically make the backbone of what Long Island is. Now, in the 10,000 years since then, it's been raining on there and kind of flattening them out a little bit. They're still, they're prominent. They're big. They're very large hills. But that has filled in between them and then washed sediment down for another feature we're going to do a little later. Wash sediment down into this plain south of it. All right, so big, long, winding ridge of sediment deposited at the end of a glacier. A lateral moraine would be, you get them in mountains, lateral just going along the sides. They're less critical to what we got to do here in earth science. One of the, so that's the easiest one to spot. A harder one to spot, but I think one that's cooler, and maybe that's because I'm not from Long Island, but one that I think is cooler is the Valley Heads moraine. So there's one that basically plugs up the southern end of all the U-shaped valleys through this area. These would like to drain to the south. This plateau is tilted south. Water would love to go south here, but it can't because of this moraine. So it's backfilled, and it's created what we call the Finger Lakes. It also pretty much defines the drainage basin, which is another vocab word from a couple weeks ago that we did, the drainage basin of Lake Ontario. If you go to Tully, New York, that's where you cross the Valley Heads moraine. So if you get off that exit there, and again, that's where you go to get to Labrador, there's like a Burger King and a gas station there. So it feels insignificant, like just a small stop on Route 81. But it's vastly significant if you're a drop of water. If you stand on that moraine and you chuck water towards the north, towards Syracuse where you came from, that water enters Onondaga Creek through Syracuse, through Three Rivers, and up through the Oswego River into Lake Ontario. If you throw water south, it goes into a different drainage basin and actually makes it all the way down to the Chesapeake Bay, which is a huge difference considering how close that is. Chesapeake Bay is all the way down here. So Tully, New York, Burger King makes that much of a difference in the paths of water, and that Valley Heads moraine that runs right through there does that. And again, plugs up all these Finger Lakes. These would all be dry valleys if it weren't for that moraine right there. And another example of where a glacier came down, dumped its stuff, and back up as it retreated in one of its advances. So that's a moraine. Lateral terminal, let's just not worry about it. I gotta close this other one. All right, so I'm gonna say this is depositional. It's a big pile of debris. It's stuff. What does it look like? Long ridge of unsorted sediment. Where might you find one? Long Island is the easiest to spot. You can't really see that Valley Heads one. Again, I think it's cooler. And its characteristics, unsorted sediments. This is one of the critical things with glacial features, that if it directly deposits from a glacier, it's going to be unsorted, which we'll talk about in just a moment when it's time for drumlins. All right. Hint, hint. Sneak preview. Let's do it.